Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? My name is Tony Zano, and this is the world famous University Love Best podcast on 3 galaxies. But you and I, we just call it online marketing moves. We are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is January the 7th, 2021 at the time of this recording. Ladies and gentlemen, have you been watching the news? Yesterday was very hectic day in the United States of America. We got people storming the Capitol building. We got politicians running underground or wherever they went. I didn't watch a lot of the news yesterday, but I got a phone call from my friend, and he was telling me about it. And then I went and I watched a few minutes. Said, you know what? I mean, it's not a shock, you know. When you have a president who is droning on and on and on about an election being a fraud, and it's not a fraud because you lost pretty. It's not a real close race. It's not like the 2000 race between Al Gore and George W. Bush. You know, that was a closer race than this race. This race it looked like it was going to be close, but with all the mail-in ballots and everything like that, the majority of the people, you know, voted for Joe Biden for the mail-in ballots. So the race turned out not to be as close as it looked. But for the last 2 months, our president has been, you know, moaning and groaning about, you know, fraud, even though he doesn't have any evidence. So he has just been flaming his horde, his group. It's quite ridiculous. It's for these people to say they are patriotic, but at the end of the day, you're not patriotic anymore. You're a terrorist, if anything else, because anybody that threatens the civility of the nation is, in my opinion, and is a terrorist. So, you know, people do a lot of, you know, blah blah blah. We love America, but these people only love America when things are going their way, when they have things their way. A lot of people, they tell you a lot of people spew that BS about loving America, loving, you know, this country, you know, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, they love what the country can do for them, you know. And all of that yesterday, all of that scene, all of that, the whole thing was very unnecessary. It was very, you know, it's very stupid. It's very, you know, moronic. It's very trashy, and the president has become a real trash bag, and it's quite sad, you know, that, you know, we are supposed to be, you know, quote unquote, you know, people like to tell you America is the greatest country in the world, but we got people acting this way just because they lost the election. Which, I mean, why did you lose the election? Because millions of people, you only have one job, you know. You only have one job as president, and that's to protect the people, you know. And they had the whole COVID-19. If you think it's real or not, I don't really care. But as the president, you have to take all these things seriously. And the president of the United States, he just brushed off COVID as the flu, or, you know, we got it from China, it's China's fault, you know. Instead of placing blame on a country that's, you know, in another galaxy, you know. China's, you know, way over there, you know. Instead of just trying to blame them and all this BS, you should have, you know, did more protection, more, you know. They had a whole pandemic team when Obama was in office. They had a whole pandemic team, and then Trump just went. He said, "Nope, we don't need a pandemic team," and then boom, you know, 2020, we're in a pandemic, and nobody did anything for the longest time. Then finally they're like, I guess we can shut the country down. So this whole thing has been nonsense. The last 4 years, the Republican Democrats, that don't really matter. But when you have just a blatant idiot as president, that's the problem. The last Republican they had as president was George Bush. George Bush, did he do a good job? Did he good? Some things he did, they was okay. Some things he did, not okay. That's every president. But as far as now, every president, there are gonna be things you like, there's gonna be things you don't like. But we never had a president who was just a complete and utter, moronic, childish buffoon for a president. We never had this. We never had, because all presidents eventually, any president, if you're going to be president of the United States, yeah, your political might be Democrat or Republican, but you have to work with both sides. Eventually, and when you get in office, you have to work with both sides. That's the whole, but this president, they want to work with both sides, everything Republican, blah, 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 blah. And it's not even really Republican. Everything is just Trump. He just joined the Republican Party because they was at the stage where they needed somebody to guide them. But of course, they picked the wrong horse, which is unfortunate, And I live in Georgia, and listen, I know this podcast is online marketing moves, but you'll be okay. You can always turn it off. But I live in Georgia, and we had a governor race 3 years ago, something like that. And the governor, he won the governorship basically because he rode on the back of Trump. He was saying he was he was politically incorrect and all this jazz, Now this guy, he became governor off the back of Trump. And now, unfortunately for him, more than likely, he's probably going to lose. He probably won't even make it out of the Republican candidacy on the next go around, and he's the governor of the state of Georgia. But he's definitely not politically correct, because Trump has been calling him out for the last 2 months, and he has done absolutely nothing. He's been pretty much a yellow belly, kind of cowardly in my opinion about the whole thing. He's like, I don't know, it's like, why don't you stand up to this guy, tell this guy to shut up, be the governor of the state of Georgia, and stop the nonsense, stop the madness. But it's all nonsense. It's all a bunch of BS. And that's all a lot of people saying, if this was black people, they would shoot. I mean, we already know this. This is something you don't have to point out. There's a old Bernie Mac joke I remember. Bernie Mac said, you hear black people, they say they're gonna blow something up. They'll never blow anything up. First off, they go into jail if they try to go buy dynamite, and that's very true. So, can you imagine? I'm driving to DC for to go storm the Capitol building. The police will probably either stop me for a busted tail light, or they'll shoot me before I get the chance to stop on the steps. So that is something that we already know. That's something you don't have to really point out, I saw a lot of people yesterday, they was pointing that out. They was like, if this was black people, like, come on now. Black people you can't walk down the street with a Subway sandwich. You can't walk down the street with a, whatever. You can't jog without getting attacked. You can't do a whole heck of a lot without being harassed by the police being black. Of course, it is what it is. People are like, I can't believe this, blah 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 blah. It's like, come on, man. They didn't shoot him. I'm like, of course not, man. I think one person died. That's unfortunate. The whole thing's unfortunate, but it's ridiculous. It's like, come on, man. They following the president of the United States. If the president of the United States is a full blown asshole, then excuse my language, but what do you expect from the other people? If he's supposed to be the quote unquote the the leader of the free world, and he's out here just spewing nonsense. So what do you think the people that follow him are gonna be like? Yeah, all right. Anyway, we will get to the next segment after this commercial. All right. So listen to how you can start talking political on your podcast by starting a podcast on Anchor. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Now, I am here to discuss investing into your business. Now, I was on a phone call with my mother one day, and we was talking about, getting stimulus money. And at the time, they was trying to talk about $2,000 and all that. And she said, "What would you do with the $2,000?" I said, "Well, of course, I would invest in my business." And it got me to thinking. And I said, no matter what they give me, if they give me anything, I am going to invest some money back into the business. And I advise all of you. I don't know, your financial situation, but even if you take $50, $100, I would say invest it into your business, invest it into what you want to do on a regular basis. The more you invest, the more you invest time, the more you invest your thoughts, the more you invest income into it, it will grow, it will grow, it will grow, and you will get out of working for somebody else. You will get out of doing things that you might not quite want to do, and you will achieve more. The more money you invest, the more time you invest, the more thoughts you invest, your business will grow faster, and it will grow bigger, and it will grow better than what you could think. All right, so you definitely, I don't care if it's 50, 100, 200, or the whole 600. Just invest something into your business, invest in yourself, and I'm telling you, with time, with consistency, and with patience, it will grow. So don't be out here spending $600 on those Yeezys. All right, invest money into your business, and your business will grow. Me myself, I have plans on building a podcast in a video room. My wife and I'm going to clean out this room we have, and I'm going to turn this into a full-blown office for me and my lovely wife. I'm going to, because I want to do videos, I want to do podcasts, and I want to do more, because eventually I want to do more than one podcast. Eventually I'm going to be getting interviewed. I'm going to be interviewing people. So I want a full nice setup. So take the monies that I get, work extra, if I work extra, and take the monies and invest in the business so the business can grow. So that way I can take my wife on the more vacations, because my goal is, and I just, as you well know, I write goals down every day, and I hope you do too. But for me, I've been with my wife a long time, and the one thing that I have failed to do is take my wife on more vacations, And I know if she listens to this, she will be quite annoyed, and she will roll her eyes, and she will say, yes, he is completely right. But I love my wife to death, and I definitely haven't taken her to on enough vacations. We've been on a few vacations, but not as much as I think we should have. And I will fully blame myself for that, because I have been working and working, but sometimes you just sort of don't think about it. Sometimes you just drop the ball. I don't have any real excuse. Sometimes you just drop the ball. So, for my wife now, we're married. We've been married, 3 years. So I've learned I need to do better. I need to do, two things I've learned about my wife. One, I should listen to her more because she's right a lot of the times. Shh, don't tell her that. And two, she doesn't require. This is something I need. I definitely am not. I definitely wouldn't have been able to be married to a high maintenance woman, And my wife is very low maintenance, and I appreciate that. Some things she wants, but of course, who doesn't want things? So I can't be mad at that, and I can't be mad at her. And I love her to death, so I'm going to do my absolute best to take her around the world. Well, nah, not my absolute best. I will take her around the world, take her wherever she wants to go. So that this is why, for me, I am invested in my business, more time, more thoughts, and more money. Because, as we both know, a job will pay your bills, but unless you're a CEO of Coke, then most jobs will not make you, financially wealthy. You know what I mean? Like financially stable up to as a point. You know what I mean? You have to take the money you get and invest it, or you have to take the money you get and invest it into a business or whatever. But just working one place, unless you're the CEO of Coke, it won't, make you financially, satisfied. You know what I mean? So this is why, for me, definitely truck driving does not, you can save money, and that's great, save money. But for me, I just want to run a business. It's been a dream of mine. Been something I wanted to do, something I look forward to doing. So for me, running a business is where I want to be. So we are going to invest the monies that I get back into the business so I can take my wife to, where does my wife want to go? She wants to go to, I'll tell you a couple of places, I'll tell you a couple of places that she wants to go. She wants to go to Norway. She wants to go to France, I believe, again. She wants to go to Spain. And I believe she wants to go to, Japan. Well, she wants to go a lot more places, but we'll be here all night, me trying to tell you all the places my wife wants to go. And for me, the one thing that I want to do is, I told my wife this, we are going to rent an RV. We are going to rent an RV, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to rent an RV. And then, of course, we're going to see how my wife likes the RV. Sleeping in the RV and all that. I mean, me, I'm well equipped, but we got to see how she goes. But we're gonna rent an RV once. We're gonna check it out, and then after that, one summer, probably when I'm in my early 50s, Lord willing, of course, I'm in my early 50s. We are going to tour the country in an RV, because by then it'll be about a good 9-10 years since I stopped driving. So I'll be excited to cruise around the country again. But it'll be different because it's in an RV, and it'll be more exciting. You know what I mean? So those are a couple of goals. That is why I am, reinvesting my money, into the business, because my business is going to grow. That's what I'm here for, and I hope, and I say, as you all well know, I can only come to you from the Tony Rizzano perspective. I can't speak for the next person. So when I say I have to tell you from my perspective. But anyway, I hope you are reinvesting money, time, and energy into your business, because I want your business to grow as well. And then when your business grows to where you want it to go, I want to hear from you. So always keep in contact, But anyway, that's it. I hope you like the political and financial show we put on for you today. All right. My name is Tony Rizzano. We will be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode of the world-famous University Love podcast. Now, click and subscribe, rate and review this podcast. Come on, everybody. Go to wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe so you can get these episodes on a daily basis, because we come to you 99% of the time, we come to you every day with another podcast. All right. With that being said, my name is Terenzano. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Episode 170 is in the books, and we will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace.